If you like drawing models, you're going to like ratio, because the concept is pretty similar. If you don't like drawing models, then you're really gonna love ratio, because you don't have to draw models. The one thing you have to get used to is the phrasing of ratio questions. If the ratio of Joey's pens to Tim's pens is 1:4, then the first number refers to the first person and the second number refers to the second person. So, Joey has 1 unit and Tim has 4 units. That's it. Let's represent this information with models first, and after that I'll show you how it translates into ratio. After Tim loses 15 pens, the ratio of Tim to Joey then becomes 3:2. Now, don't be tricked. This time they mentioned Tim first, so Tim has 3 units and Joey has 2. Let's draw that out. Now, always assume that the units in these two cases are different in size. What do I mean by this? Go back and read the question again. Notice that Tim loses 15 pens, but nothing happens to Joey. So Joey has the same number of pens as before. That means that 1 unit in the first case is equal to 2 units in the second case. In order to compare these two sets of models, we have to make sure the units are the same. We can do this by cutting each unit in the first case into 2. I'll redraw the model to make it clearer. Notice that by cutting each unit into 2, we are multiplying the number of units by 2. Remember to circle the new set so that you don't use the old units later on. Notice that Tim's units decreased from 8 units to 3 units. This is because he lost 15 pens. So 5 units equals 15. Therefore 1 unit equals 3. Finally, since Joey has 2 units, he must have had 6 pens. Solving this question using the ratio method is the exact same thing, only without the need for drawing squares and rectangles. The ratio of Joey to Tim at first is 1:4. The ratio of Tim to Joey after Tim loses 15 pens is 3:2. Remember that Joey's pens should be the same, so cut the units before into 2, which is the same as multiplying them by 2. We can see that Tim's units decreased by 5 because he lost 15 pens. So 5 units equals 15. Simply find 1 unit, which is 3. The question asks for Joey's pens. Joey has 2 units. 2 times 3 equals 6, therefore he has 6 pens. Now that we have got our feet wet, it might be a good time to have an overview of the topic. Ratio problem sums typically fall into 2 groups. In the first group, there will always be something that remains unchanged. In the second group, everything changes. The first group can be broken down into 3 types. One item remains unchanged, the difference remains unchanged, or the total remains unchanged. Remember the question we just did? Joey remained unchanged. This allowed us to adjust the unit sizes to make comparisons possible. This falls under the first category where one item, Joey, remains unchanged. Therefore, recognizing situations where either one item, the difference, or the total remains the same will allow us to solve questions in a similar style. There are however cases where nothing remains the same. This is the second large category of ratio questions. One popular method for these type of questions is known as units and parts. Please ensure that you master all of these types of questions.